Hello and welcome to Super Hexagon. I am Tarquin and I'm here with,
Bertrudor, hello.
and we're playing a game.
Yeah. So the idea here is that I'm recording it on my channel, or for my channel. He's recording it on his channel, and we're both uploading our separate games while we're competing.
To see who gets the furthest in a set amount of time.
Yeah. So at the end of the video, whoever got the high score today wins and gets to punch each other the other
Gets
in the
gets all
face.
the
I don't
prizes.
all the bragging rights. Oh hey, I
Yes.
got a high score.
I get all the bread.
I want to be Bertrudor,
Oh,
please.
whoops. Wow, that was a fail.
Birch, I can't type.
You have
Door.
to
Thank
type the number or the letters. You can't type super fast or it'll do double letters
yeah.
sometimes
I
or
noticed.
skip letters. It's kind of
Okay,
annoying.
so doing commentary on this game we reckon is pretty much impossible. So we are going to, in every video, um, discuss a random topic that we picked in advance.
Yes, and we're going to do all the difficulty levels.
Yeah, one video for each.
So,
And
six video
today is
series.
my yes. Tarquin plays this game a lot. Today is my first time ever playing it. So that's interesting. And I've only ever practiced the first three difficulties. So that'll be extra fun. Oh, also I highly recommend split screening our videos, watching I went the wrong way. Watching one on the left and one on the right.
Yeah, that would probably be the best way to do it.
So
I concur.
since the screen is pretty much the same on both sides,
Yeah, pretty
all it
much.
lets you do is see what we react to. What's going on.
Exactly. Yeah, because it would be
So
kind of weird.
our topic for today is arcade games. Do you want to start or should I?
You can start.
Okay, my earliest memory of playing any arcade games was Frogger at the dentist.
Oh, wow.
He had it wasn't like an upright arcade where you stand at it with the joystick and the screen is in front of you. It was like you look down at it, like it was
A tabletop?
um, yeah,
Like those old Pac Man machines in the pizzerias?
I have no idea, but
The
I
two-player
imagine so.
Pac-Man machines. Yeah, I know what you're talking about. It's like a glass
Yeah,
table with an arcade game inside of it.
and it was really one of my early video game experiences was Frogger at the dentist.
That's pretty
I'm
cool.
pretty sure it might not have been the dentist, it might have been the doctor or something like that, but it was definitely the sort of place where you go and you talk to a receptionist and then you sit down in the waiting room.
Hmm.
There was a Frogger there.
I remember playing video games at my dentist, but it was a Nintendo 64.
Really?
Yeah, it's pretty cool.
That's
But
pretty
yeah,
cool.
the earliest arcade memory I have, I know I played arcade games before this, but the fondest memory I have was my family went to the beach and me and my brother were old enough that we played video games, and our sisters were young enough that they didn't play video games at the time.
Hmm.
And we were walking down the beach. We were just checking out the local buildings all around,
Yep.
and me and my brother wanted to walk into the lobbies of all of the different hotels around the area. And we walked into one of them, and there was an old SNK 4-in-1 arcade cabinet in there.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
our parents just, I guess, wanted to go walk on the beach together. So they gave us both a sleeve of quarters, and we just played on that thing until nighttime in that arcade.
Nice.
And it was stuff like Fatal Fury and what was the Metal Slug
Hmm.
and
Did it have Samurai Showdown?
probably and there was another game that wasn't a fighting game. I don't remember what it was. It was some kind of a platforming game, but we played it a lot and it was super fun. So that's
That's
definitely
cool.
my first fond arcade memory.
Yeah, I have there was um, a store, probably like a Walmart or something,
Hmm.
that there were arcade games in the entryway. Um, and it was, the sort of store that my mom had to go to somewhat regularly, but not as regularly as grocery shopping.
Hmm.
And so whenever I went, I would ask if I could play an arcade game. And my brother, often there as well, and we would play. They had like Altered Beast, and I don't remember all of them, but the main one was Turtles 2.
Ooh, I love that
And
one.
so we played Turtles 2 in that on that arcade, and we were terrible.
I remember my local theater. It was a dollar theater back when dollar theaters actually only cost $1. Now they're like $3 or $5 or something. Um, they had one of those four-player original X-Men arcade cabinets. The one that had Nightcrawler and Psylocke and
Yeah.
all them on it. And that was the first time that Nightcrawler became my favorite X-Men, because I was like, whoa, this guy can teleport everywhere. That's so cool. I want the ability to teleport. And I do remember playing Turtles 2 at that place as well, but me and my brother loved the X-Men one. He would always be Cyclops, and I would always be Nightcrawler. When we played Ninja Turtles, he'd always be Leonardo, and I would always be Michelangelo. Because I liked the goof-off character, and he liked the character that had blue on. I don't know if he liked Leo for any other reason. His favorite color was blue, that's all I remember.
Okay.
I liked Mikey because he liked eating and he liked making jokes. My two favorite things.
So, because I'm the youngest brother, I have three older brothers, and significantly older. I would often hang out with them and their friends, and I was always, and sometimes we would go to arcade games, and that was cool. And I was good at video games, I could compete with them playing games. I remember there was one time I was hanging out with my brother, who was like 7 years older than I am, and his friends, and Street Fighter had just come out, like Street Fighter Turbo or something.
Oh, wow.
We were playing that, and I would beat them.
That's cool.
I don't know how old I was, but I could definitely hold my own against these guys. But going to the arcade with them, they were so much better at everything than I was, and I was especially amazed by the shooter games, with the gun, where you have to shoot off the screen to reload. Do you remember all those? Like
the Zapper games? Yeah, I remember those games.
Yeah.
And Jurassic Park was an awesome one too. You ride around in the car and shoot at the dinosaurs. Those are really cool.
Yeah, I loved watching those guys play those games, but man, I could never do it.
I actually do have a Street Fighter memory in an arcade. This was a mall arcade back when malls had arcades in them. There was a Street Fighter 2 cabinet in there, and me and my brother would always go play it. And one day we went in there, and Street Fighter 2 wasn't there, but the cabinet looked exactly the same. There was what had replaced it was a very subtle Street Fighter 3, and this was back in like the mid-90s. And we were thinking, Street Fighter 3, that has to be awesome. And we play it, and it was still the same 8 characters from Street Fighter 2, but all of their movesets had been changed around, and the characters' physics had been changed. Somebody had put a hacked Street Fighter 2 arcade machine in the arcade. And this was way before I even knew about video game hacking.
Yeah.
And everybody loved it. They were like, whoa, Street Fighter 3. And you could tell it was like they had put duct tape on the side of it and wrote Street Fighter 3 on the side of it. Like they put a sticker over the 2 that had a 3 on it, basically. But it was really fun. I remember Blanca could do his roll in midair, and so could Ryu and Ken do their spin kick, their hurricane kick. But the thing I remember the most was Blanca could shoot the sonic boom out of his eyes. So that was really weird.
Interesting.
Yeah, it was a crazy game. But yeah, that was my first experience with ROM hacking. And it was an arcade cabinet.
Did you ever go to like Toy Stores where they had games just up where you could play them?
Yeah, the little console, the demo consoles.
Is that a common thing? Yeah.
Like Toys R Us was the most common, in Kmart and Sears, I think, or Walmart and Sears. I think those were the ones you could play them in. But yeah, I remember that. I remember playing a Virtual Boy at Walmart.
I played against somebody in Super Street Fighter doing that. Just another kid about my age.
Oh, like just testing it out or doing a competition?
No, just, he was playing it, and I walked up and started playing it with him, and we played for a while.
Me and my brother went to a video game competition at a Blockbuster when we were younger.
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
I'd
I
never do
was
that.
I was playing. What game did I play? Super
Ooh.
Mario Brothers 3, and it was a coin challenge. See how many coins you could collect in 5 minutes. And he
Oh,
played Bucky O'Hare, the game you recommended to me or requested.
oh, cool.
Uh, and the challenge for his group, he was young. He's younger than me. He was in a younger group category. Um, his challenge was to get as many points, and he didn't hear them announce that, or rather, they didn't announce it loud enough for everybody to hear. Uh,
Hmm.
and he thought it was just get as far as you can, so he was avoiding all of the point farming areas, and he got like 3 levels into the game in 5 minutes,
Oh,
and everybody else was just staying on the first level killing enemies, and he was like, "What's going on? Why I'm way further than these guys?" And he lost because he had the least amount of points.
yeah.
So he
Okay.
he probably doesn't. Uh, he still says they didn't tell me or they told me the wrong thing or something like that.
Yeah.
That's funny, but I do remember that. It was pretty cool. It's the only
That's
one I
good.
remember going to.
Huh. So probably the coolest experience I had in an arcade was my brother had a friend, or my sister had a friend. One of them had a friend uh, who worked at an arcade, and there was one day we all, my brother and his friends and me, we all went down, and he handed us a bag of tokens
Oh,
just for
cool.
free, and we just played whatever we wanted for free for hours.
That's pretty awesome. Yeah, I remember
Yeah,
tokens. Now it's all just direct credit card or something, I think.
yeah. I don't know. I haven't. Arcades are pretty much gone these days.
Well, there's
The only,
still an arcade in the city that I used to live in. It's called Frankie's Fun Park. It
I
also
went to
has the go karts and baseball hitting thing,
well,
stuff like
I
that.
went to Walmart today, and it had a little arcade in it. Just probably with I didn't look in, but a couple of games probably. But it's not really. It's like to get real arcade feel these days. You have to have something special that you can't play at home.
Hmm.
Can't
And they
simulate
don't
at
have
home.
that anymore because consoles are better than arcade machines now.
Well, and you'd have to like build a whole something. You know, I mean,
Hmm.
like back in the day, it was as simple as just making a racing game with a steering wheel.
Yeah.
But these days, you have crazy joystick configurations you can buy for mech games.
Hmm. I used to play Cruis'n USA in the arcade. That's the only racing game I remember playing. Well, and Ridge Racer I played a couple of times.
Oh, that was another one. When I was really young, I would try to play with my brother and his friends, but I couldn't reach the pedal.
You must have been young in the arcade.
Oh yeah, I mean,
I
I
remember
barely
being
reached the
able to
pedals
reach
now.
everything. But my brother was younger than me, so he was always the tag along. He's 2 years younger than me, so I imagine everything was a lot bigger to him than it was to me.
Yeah. Well, you're taller than I am anyway. I
I'm
imagine you
six
probably
foot.
always were taller. Yeah, I'm like 5'9".
Yeah, my brother's a little taller than that. So yeah, I can imagine.
Yep.
Everybody used to think we were twins when we were younger, even though we uh, we were different heights, and I don't know. He had curly hair, I had wavy hair. I didn't really think we looked all that much alike, but my mom said everybody thought we were twins.
Huh.
It's weird. We're 22 months apart.
Oh well, that's not very long.
Mm-mm. 2 years.
No. I remember there was one arcade game that I always loved. It was a tank game,
Uh huh.
and at the time it had really cutting edge 3D graphics.
I think I might know which one you're talking about.
Everything was rendered in 3D, and the controls, you had two joysticks to
Yeah, I
control
remember.
yourself.
I remember that.
Legitimate tank controls, and
But it
you
was a
had your.
mech game that I remember. It wasn't
Oh really?
tanks. Yeah.
Oh, mine was definitely tanks.
Huh.
There were like 6 or 8 tanks to choose from, and they all had different stats.
Oh,
And you had two
yeah, I do
attacks.
remember that game.
There was just a machine gun or something, and then missiles you could launch.
Yeah, you had to. It had weird controls too because you had to lean both joysticks to the right to turn right or
No,
something.
no. If you leaned both joysticks to the right, you would slide right.
Oh,
If
slide.
you
Yeah,
leaned
okay.
if you leaned one forward and one back, you would turn.
Yeah, I remember that. I know exactly what
Yeah,
game you're talking about.
I thought those controls were just the coolest thing
Yeah,
ever.
that was. I also remember the Super Punch Out with the boxing gloves controls. You slip your hands
Oh,
into the
really?
little. I mean, it didn't have actual boxing
I
gloves, but
never
it had little guards on the front of it, and you just
heard of
pummel your
those. I've
enemy.
never even seen one though.
It was so
Oh,
cool.
never. There were always like bicycle games. I guess not always, but these were later. Oh, went the wrong way. Like games where you had to pedal and skiing games where you were like early Wii Wii Fit games. That's
Yeah.
what they were.
Did you ever play any of the Play Choice 10 arcade cabinets, Nintendo's arcade cabinets? They just had Nintendo games in there, like 10 Nintendo games.
Doesn't sound familiar.
It was pretty cool because they had exclusive versions of games that weren't. They were slightly different than the home versions, but it was still Nintendo game technology, slightly more improved.
You know what? There was a thrift store we would go to um, that had a Mario arcade game,
Uh,
and
there was a Mario Player's Choice 10. It had different
yeah, and
level
it was. I
layouts.
remember playing it and falling down. And, I was just running because I knew Mario so well.
Uh huh.
It was just Super Mario Brothers, or yeah, and I ran forward and fell down a pit that I'd never seen before.
Yeah, that was probably the Play Choice 10.
Yeah, probably.
Yeah, but it had games
Oh,
you could choose. Like I remember one of the ones specifically that stood out was Goonies because only Goonies 2 came out in America, but Goonies 1
yep.
was fully translated, but it never made it to the console. It was only on the Play Choice 10 cabinet.
Wow, that's
And
cool.
I personally think Goonies 1 is better than Goonies 2. So what's your best
I
score
hate
so
it.
far?
50 something.
Oh wow, not bad. You're getting way better, way faster than I was at this game, which I'm not surprised at. I do think you're a slightly higher level video game player than I am. Which is odd because I think we did fairly evenly when we did our Street Fighter race. I was expecting you to do way better, but we
Yeah.
ended up having almost the exact same score.
But we tied. We had to do a tiebreaker. And
Yeah, we did. I remember that.
oh, wrong way
We both had
again.
to play the same character or something like that. I don't remember. It's been a while. Viewers, you should
Yeah,
go back and watch it and tell us how it ended in the
it,
comments.
it was great. I actually think that was a great series.
It was a good series. One of
I
my
remember
viewers
that.
said, "Hey man, he custom designs arcade controllers for current generation consoles."
Yeah.
And he said, "Hey man, me and you should play some Street Fighter." And I said, you'd probably beat me pretty bad, but you should go over to Bertrudor's channel. I'm sure he would challenge you to Street Fighter." And I don't know if he ever sent you
Yeah,
a
I did
message.
get somebody asking me if I wanted to play
That's
Street
probably
Fighter on the
him.
arcade. Yeah,
Oops.
it's completely off. I guess it's not off topic. It's still talking about arcade.
I'm not going to tell you what my score is. You just have to watch it on my channel. Lol, lol,
Oh,
lol, lol, lol.
it's probably like 112. No, because I'd hear you get really excited if you were up to 112.
I'm actually not paying that much attention to the game, and I'm doing fairly
Oh,
well.
you
I say as I
just
run into a wall.
sort of zoning.
Yeah, I've gotten my second highest score during this play session,
Ugh, supposed to
if
be
that
able to
tells you.
compete here.
Hey, you're doing good. You're doing way better than I did in the first week of playing this game, and this is your first day playing it.
Yeah. Well, I don't expect to gain any of these videos, but I want to be able to compete.
Yeah, I understand. You're definitely a competitor. You like the challenge of competition. Because were you the one that originally came up with the idea of races, or was that Tofu Boy?
I saw somebody else do it and thought that was the greatest idea.
Uh,
I'd like to do it.
I
Maybe
remembered
doing
hearing
it.
Tofu Boy talk about somebody doing a Final Fantasy X race, and I watched the
Yep,
first
yep.
episode of it, and I didn't really like it.
Oh, they only ever did one episode.
Oh, really? Maybe that's
Yeah.
why I only ever watched one
I
episode.
wanted them to do more.
It was
I'm
like a
looking forward to that.
40-minute episode, something like that.
Game's slow to start.
Yeah, it was mostly intro.
Yeah. So I remember one game that would like draw crowds to the arcade. Not like Galaga, because that was before my time, but Virtua Fighter.
Oh yeah, I remember Virtua
I
Fighter was
remember,
very popular.
I remember that game was such a big deal, and then when it came out on consoles, it was such a big deal.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, time. Kill yourself and
Okay.
it's your best.
69-47.
51-29.
That's not bad.
Alright, everybody is Bertrudor and Tarquin playing Hexagon Super Adventure Time.
Thanks
Thanks
for
for
watching.
watching.